Welcome back to the coin world. Old coin review and value, the ultimate destination for rare coin discoveries, numismatic treasures, and the hidden value in your pocket change. Imagine finding an ordinary-looking coin in your collection that could actually be worth far more than its face value. That is exactly the case with the Liberty half-dollar minted in 1995. At first glance, it might look like any other coin you've seen before, but if you own this piece, it might just turn the tables for you. Stick around until the end, because I'll reveal what this coin is really worth according to eBay, auction houses, and other online platforms, and how you can actually sell one if you're lucky enough to have it. The 1995 Liberty half-dollar is officially part of the Kennedy half-dollar series, which began in 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. This series was created as a tribute to one of America's most beloved leaders and instantly became a symbol of respect and national memory. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse side shows the presidential seal designed by Frank Gasparro. What makes the 1995 issue historically interesting is that it was released during a period when half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday circulation. By the mid-1990s, most Americans rarely saw half-dollar coins in daily transactions. Instead, these coins were produced more for collectors and special sets, making them both common in one sense yet collectible in another. The 1995 Kennedy half-dollar was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were standard circulation strikes, though most ended up in rolls and bags rather than being used in shops and markets. The San Francisco Mint produced both clad and 90% silver-proof versions intended for collectors, and these are the pieces that often attract the most attention today. In terms of design, the 1995 half-dollar maintained the strong and dignified image of Kennedy that had become iconic by that time. The inscriptions include "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date 1995 on the obverse, while the reverse proudly displays United States of America half-dollar and the detailed eagle with shield, arrows, and olive branch. The broader context of the 1990s adds another layer of meaning to this coin. The United States was experiencing economic growth, political changes, and the rise of new technologies. Even though the half-dollar wasn't actively circulating, it still represented a piece of American heritage that continued to resonate with people who grew up remembering Kennedy and his vision for the country. Collectors today value the 1995 half-dollar for several reasons. First, it marks over 30 years since the introduction of the Kennedy design, making it a coin that sits firmly in the modern era but still tied to the legacy of the 1960s. Second, the condition of the coin makes a huge difference. Uncirculated examples and proof versions, especially the silver proofs from San Francisco, are often worth far more than their face value. The 1954 Liberty wheat penny is one of those coins that might just turn the tables for you. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but when you understand its history and what collectors are paying for it today, you'll realize why this little piece of copper is far more valuable than it appears. Stick around until the end of this video, because we'll uncover not only its history but also what it's worth today, and how you can actually sell it. The Liberty wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln wheat cent, has a legendary place in American coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909, it was created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The wheat ears on the reverse symbolized prosperity, growth, and the strength of America during the early 20th century. By 1954, the coin had already been in circulation for 45 years, making it both a familiar everyday coin and a piece of long-running history. The year 1954 itself was an interesting time in American history. The United States was recovering from the aftermath of World War II. The Cold War tensions were rising, and everyday Americans were experiencing the economic boom of the 1950s. In that climate, the 1954 wheat penny continued its role as a common coin in the hands of workers, children, and business owners alike. Minted in 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the 1954 wheat penny exists in different varieties. The Philadelphia mint coins carry no mint mark, the Denver coins carry a small D under the date, and the San Francisco coins carry an S. While millions were minted, not all of them survived in pristine condition, and that is where their value begins to rise today. On the obverse, we find the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His image represents freedom, leadership, and unity. On the reverse, the twin stalks of wheat flank the words 1 cent, and at the bottom, United States of America. These simple design elements connect the coin directly to America's agricultural roots and national pride. From a composition standpoint, the 1954 wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This copper base gives the coin a rich reddish-brown tone when uncirculated, but over time, many circulated pieces have taken on darker hues, sometimes with unique patinas that collectors find attractive. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 71 million wheat pennies in 1954, while Denver minted more than 250 million, and San Francisco struck around 96 million. Because of these high mintages, circulated examples are still relatively easy to find, but in uncirculated condition, or with certain striking errors, the 1954 wheat penny becomes much more desirable. Error coins from 1954 are especially sought after. Double die errors, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can turn an otherwise common coin into one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors love these imperfections. Imagine checking your change and finding a simple Liberty 5-cent coin from 1992 only to realize it could be worth far more than 5 cents. That's the fascinating truth about certain coins. And today we are diving deep into the 1992 Liberty 5-cent piece. If you happen to own this coin, it might just turn the tables for you. Stick around until the end because I will explain its value according to eBay, auctions and other online platforms, and more importantly, how you can actually sell one for the best return. The 1992 Liberty 5-cent is more commonly known as the Jefferson nickel. This series began in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel, and has remained in circulation ever since. Designed by Felix Schlag, the obverse proudly features the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. This design had been in use for over 5 decades by the time the 1992 coin was minted, making it one of the longest-running designs in United States coinage. The early 1990s were an interesting time for American coinage. The mint was still producing billions of nickels annually, yet subtle differences and minting errors from this period have made some examples highly desirable among collectors today. The 1992 Jefferson nickel was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, while San Francisco struck proof coins for collectors. Each mint produced millions, but as always, condition and rarity play a major role in determining value. Looking at the obverse, Jefferson's profile is clean and sharply detailed, facing left, with inscriptions, "Liberty in God We Trust" and the year 1992. The reverse depicts Monticello, with the words "E pluribus unum," United States of America and 5 cents. While it may seem ordinary, the smallest variations in strike, die condition, or mint mark placement can make certain 1992 nickels stand out dramatically in the eyes of collectors. Historically, the Jefferson nickel series has seen many rare varieties including double dies, overmint marks and striking errors. While 1992 does not have a widely known major variety, coins in superb, uncirculated, or proof condition remain sought after. This is because collectors always look for coins that are not just old but well preserved, and finding a 1992 nickel without wear can be surprisingly difficult, considering how heavily these coins circulated in the 1990s. On eBay and other online platforms, prices for 1992 Liberty 5-cent coins vary significantly. Circulated examples might only fetch a modest premium, often just a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on condition. But when you look at uncirculated coins or those graded by professional services at high levels, values rise quickly. Proof coins from San Francisco, especially deep cameo examples, are also attractive to buyers and can command strong prices. Auction records show that top-graded specimens such as those rated coin from 1949 in your hand, something that has been passed through countless pockets, purses, and tills for decades, and yet today could be worth far more than its face value. That's the hidden magic of the Liberty wheat penny from 1949. If you happen to own this coin, it might just turn the tables for you. Stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal its value according to eBay, online platforms, and auctions, along with how you can sell it. At the end, I'll give you a way to know its exact price and the selling procedure. So stick around. The 1949 wheat penny is a continuation of the iconic Lincoln Wheat Cent Series, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. This series ran until 1958, and during that time it became one of the most beloved and collected designs in American history. The obverse of the 1949 penny features the portrait of Lincoln, a design by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse proudly carries the wheat ears, symbolic of American prosperity and hard work. 1949. The United States was experiencing significant changes. World War II had ended only a few years earlier, and the country was entering a period of economic growth and transition. Pennies minted during this time circulated widely in a nation that was redefining itself in the post-war era. Each 1949 wheat penny is a small artifact of that moment in history, linking us to an America full of both challenges and opportunities. There were three main versions of the 1949 wheat penny: those minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, those minted in Denver with a D mint mark, and those minted in San Francisco with an S mint mark. Each variety has its own mintage numbers and collector interest. Philadelphia produced the largest quantity, while the San Francisco issues are scarcer and often more sought after. The metal composition of the 1949 wheat penny remained 95% copper with a small balance of tin and zinc. These copper coins not only carried monetary value but also became part of everyday American life. They passed through hands at diners, gas stations, schools, and shops, often unnoticed in their day-to-day role. Today, the story is different. Collectors and sellers look at these coins with a sharp eye, focusing on details such as mint marks, condition, and even errors. For example, 1949 pennies with strong mint luster, sharp details, or doubling errors are far more valuable than ordinary worn pieces on eBay and other online platforms. A circulated 1949 penny might sell for as little as a few cents above its face value, especially in average condition. However, higher-grade coins begin to command stronger prices. Uncirculated examples often fetch between $5 and $20 depending on quality, and certified mint state coins can bring $50 to $100 or more. Some error coins or particularly rare examples have gone for even higher prices at auctions. Auction houses also highlight the potential of this coins. The 1929 Liberty Wheat penny, crafted with SEO rich language and strong audience retention in mind. Exactly as you requested. Imagine holding a coin that has survived nearly a century, a coin that witnessed the Great Depression, a coin that could have passed through the hands of ordinary workers, businessmen, and families struggling during one of America's hardest times. Now imagine that this very coin, the 1929 Liberty Wheat penny, might be worth far more than just 1 cent today. If you own this coin, it might just turn the tables for you. So stick around until the end of this video, because I'll reveal how much it can be worth on eBay, auctions, and other online platforms, and I'll also show you how you can sell it. The 1929 wheat penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse shows Lincoln's portrait while the reverse carries two wheat stalks circling the words 1 cent and United States of America. This simple yet powerful design quickly became iconic and is still beloved by collectors today. In 1929, the United States was heading into one of the darkest chapters in its financial history. The stock market crash of October 1929 ushered in the Great Depression, and money was scarce in households across the country. Despite this, the U.S. Mint struck tens of millions of wheat pennies, including those from Philadelphia with no mint mark, from Denver with the letter D, and from San Francisco with the letter S. Each mint's output gives today's collectors a variety of options, but scarcity, grade, and errors are what create real value. Philadelphia produced the highest mintage, making its coins more common. Denver pennies from 1929 are scarcer, and San Francisco issues are often sought after by collectors for their lower production numbers. But the real excitement comes from coins that have survived in pristine condition. While most 1929 pennies are worn from circulation, uncirculated examples with sharp details and original luster can command strong prices at auctions. 1971. In your hand, and realizing that this tiny piece of metal could potentially change your financial situation. Most people pass over these coins without a second thought. But what if I told you that certain versions of the 1971 Liberty nickel have been fetching surprising prices across online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and private collectors networks. After the intro, I mentioned that if you own one of these coins, it might just turn the tables for you. So make sure you stick around until the end of the video, because that's where I'll reveal how much this coin can really be worth and how you can go about selling it. The 1971 Liberty nickel, often simply referred to as the Jefferson nickel of that year, may not appear extraordinary at first glance. Millions were minted, and they circulated heavily in the United States throughout the 70s and beyond. However, collectors know that the real value of any coin lies not in how many were made, but in the condition, the rarity of certain mint marks, and the unique errors that sometimes occur during production. For example, coins struck in San Francisco with the S mint mark, or those with double die errors and full step details on Monticello are the ones that truly stand out among collectors. Over the years, coins from 1971 have found their way into eBay listings with prices ranging from just a few dollars to several hundred, depending on the grade and certification. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have given high-grade 1971 nickels top-tier recognition, with some even climbing in value at auctions. Collectors especially look for nickels with sharp details on Monticello steps, a feature that becomes a major price driver. Beyond eBay, other online platforms and auction houses have shown similar results. Heritage Auctions, for instance, has recorded sales where pristine examples of the 1971 nickel commanded far more than expected. The reason is clear: serious numismatists are always on the lookout for rare die varieties, unusual minting errors, and uncirculated coins with original luster. It's also important to mention that international buyers often contribute to these sales. While a 1971 nickel may not seem too special in the US, collectors abroad sometimes pay a premium to add it to their world coin collections. This global demand adds yet another layer of value to what seems like an ordinary piece of change. So if you have a Liberty 5-cent 1971 coin, don't dismiss it as just another nickel. Its true worth could surprise you, especially if yours happens to be in mint state or has an error that others are eager to add to their collection. Remember, the condition, the grading, and the mint mark can make all the difference in turning a simple 5-cent piece into a collector's treasure.